Hello, my name is Kimberly Taylor, and this is my presentation on online learning pre-planning. This presentation is going to cover the results of a survey that was given to respondents asking for the training department of a fictional corporation, A to Z Corporation, how they felt about online courses, because the company wants employees to complete some training courses and they want them to be exclusively online due to so many people now working from home. So the trainers want to take the employees' current skill and comfort levels into consideration when designing the courses in order to make them as easy and successful as possible. Due to this, the employees were sent a survey asking them to answer some questions about any previous experience they might have had with online learning and their feelings about training courses overall. So what you're seeing here is the question setup that was given to employees when they took the survey. The respondents were seeing basically an explanation of what was being done and why. And so that was what they were going to take into consideration before answering the questions, which we'll get into in a minute. Just a little bit about the participants. There were a total of 10 people who took the survey. 3 of them were male, 7 were female. They ranged in age from 18 to 65, and they all work at different jobs within the company and have had a very mix between education and job experience. Now, getting into the results of the survey itself, there are a total of 10 questions. First one was just asking if you've ever taken an online course before for personal or career purposes. Most people have, but you never know, since this was going to be completely online, and they get a gauge of how familiar people are with that. And as expected, the majority of people, 70%, said they have taken an online course before. Second question is asking what people prefer in terms of how they take their courses. What is their preferred format? The largest number here, 50%, say they prefer a traditional style courses completely in person with the instructor and classmates present at all times. 30% say they prefer a mix of a hybrid where everybody is in person but still doing some online. The smallest number, 20%, said they take them online exclusively, which can be an issue with how the corporation is wanting to offer these courses. We'll get into possible solutions for that later. And there was nobody who said that they didn't have a preference. So question 3 asked, similar to the other one, what is your preferred method for learning new material? And just like with people preferring to be in a classroom with traditional instruction, they preferred 60%, the most here, listening to the instructor give a lecture, go over the material, and taking notes, traditional classroom format. There were 20% who said they prefer to have a video, YouTube, something like that to help explain the material. And only 10% said they prefer reading the book, as well as 10% working in groups. Question 4 was asking, have you ever participated in an online discussion group or forum before? This is a large part of a lot of online courses, so I wanted to make sure people were comfortable with that. Most people have done it in some capacity before, so as expected, we have a large number, 80%, who said that they have participated in something like that before, which is good. The next few questions are going to ask about how familiar people are with various things. First one for question 5 is, how familiar are you using online meeting platforms, Zoom, Teams, Hangouts, things of that nature? Because whether synchronous or asynchronous, a lot of online courses do involve some sort of online meeting. Sometimes it's frequent, sometimes not so much, but usually it's involved somewhere. So how do people feel about that? And we have 50% who say they've used an online meeting platform and they're moderately comfortable. 30% say they're very comfortable with them. 20% have never used it, but at least most people are comfortable to some capacity with that. For question 6, again with familiarity, in terms of comfort level, how familiar are you with creating documents using Microsoft Word or Google Docs? These are common programs people have used, if not for work themselves. So not surprisingly, 40% said they feel very comfortable after having used them in the past. Interestingly, we went from 40% who said they've very, very comfortable, and 30% were moderately comfortable, and then 20% said never used them. 10% not very comfortable, but most people are good with that, which is good. Question 7, how familiar are you with creating presentations using Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Slides? this, we had the majority of people who say they're not familiar, not comfortable. We have 40% that have never used either of these programs to create presentations. So when looking into how to have people complete assignments, it would definitely be better to stick with Word or Docs for now, as opposed to making some sort of slideshow presentation, as most people don't seem to be familiar with how to do that. Although we do have 40% who said they've never done it, and 30% who said they've used it and feel very comfortable. So again, it's an interesting mix. 20% said moderately comfortable, 10% not very comfortable. The next screen, we have two results together, questions 8 and 9, which are basically covering how much people feel comfortable committing to courses in general. Question 8 is how many hours per week on average do you feel comfortable confidently committing to taking an online course? We have two answers that got 40%. We have 1 to 2 hours as well as 2 to 3 hours. 20% said they could do 4 to 5 hours, but it looks like the majority would be 1 to 3 hours here. So somewhere in that range would be an acceptable amount per week for these training courses. In terms of 9, instead of looking how many hours you can commit, this is asking how many classes in general you can commit to over the course of the year. And we have a large majority saying the same answer, 70% saying they could do 2 to 3 classes per year. 20% said they could do 1 class. 10% said they could do 4 to 5, but looks like 2 to 3 classes would be acceptable for most people over the span of a year. The last question result to go over is question 10, which was saying on a scale of 1 to 5, how helpful do you feel previous in-person or online training classes you've done have been to helping you improve your job performance? And this was interesting here. We have 40% given for 2 answers. Right in the middle, at 3 out of 5, we have 4 people, or 40%, as well as 5, the most helpful, again, was 40%. One person said 2 out of 5, one person said 4 out of 5, and there was nobody who didn't find it helpful, so it's good to see. The last slide covers the suggestions for pursuing with the designing of the courses based on the survey results. So a few different things to go over here. One suggestion would be to make an online training course with synchronous instructor and student attendance, since the majority of respondents said that they prefer the traditional style of an in-person class with the instructor and classmates present. The closest thing to that would be to offer the course online as the company prefers, but have synchronous instruction where the instructor and the participants are online at the same time, so they feel like they're taking the course in real time, can ask questions, take notes, things like that, live with the professor. So that would be one way to offer things. A similar but alternate version of that would be to have an online training course, but pre-recorded lessons and outside videos. So this way, the company's still having it be online, but the instructor doesn't have to be available all the time for the participants. They can pre-record the lessons. The students can go watch them whenever it's convenient, and they can have supplemental videos from YouTube or any sort of sources to help fill in any gaps and offer additional instructions when getting a blend of formats there. Next, Word and Docs would be best suited for students to create assignments for now. The majority of people said they're comfortable with that and have experience using it, so that makes the most sense for how the students would complete assignments to show what they're learning. Another suggestion would be, since a lot of people weren't familiar with PowerPoint, are slides, and that would be a good thing for them to have in day-to-day skills at work as well as home, to create a training course that shows them how to use these programs, so they can use that for a variety of uses in the future, including on future training course assignments. Next, incorporate some discussion requirements into the course. Many courses that are online include discussions as it is, so it makes sense to have this, and a lot of people who responded to the survey said they like, just like with the professor being there, the instructor being there, they like having the classmates be there in person. In the online version of that, that would be a discussion area, so having them collaborate with each other in a discussion area on the online course. Sounds like it would be a good component to include. Lastly, offer both the synchronous or pre-recorded lesson combination training course as well as an asynchronous training course. Most people said they were comfortable with doing 2 to 3 courses for the year. So a good way to combine what people are most comfortable with or what they most prefer, which would be the synchronous format, as well as what the company is preferring, which is sort of a asynchronous, completely online format, would be make 1 or 2 courses synchronous or pre-recorded combination, make another 1 or 2 asynchronous and completely online. That way people are getting experience doing what they're most familiar with, most comfortable with, as well as doing it a different way and getting different experience and comfort levels. And thank you very much for viewing the presentation.